Chapter 2. The Methodology of Seeking Knowledge. The methodology of seeking knowledge and its levels. Whoever does not perfect the foundation is prevented from reaching their aim in knowledge, and whoever wants to attain knowledge in one go will lose it in one go. It was also said, overcrowding the knowledge in the ear misguides one's understanding. Therefore, it is essential to ground yourself in every subject you wish to study by perfecting its basics and perfecting a concise book on every subject with a Shaykh and not relying upon personal efforts alone. Seeking knowledge should also be taken step by step. Allah the Most High said, وَقُرْآنًا فَرَقْنَاهُ لِتَقْرَأَهُ عَلَى النَّاسِ عَلَى مُكْثٍ وَنَزَّلْنَاهُ تَنزِيلًا. And it is a Qur'an which we have divided into parts in order that you may recite it to men at intervals, and we have revealed it by stages. Allah the Most High said, وَقَالَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَوْلَا نُزِّلَ عَلَيْهِ الْقُرْآنُ جُمْلَةً وَاحِدَةً كَذَلِكَ لِنُثَبِّتَ بِهِ فُؤَادَكَ وَرَتَّلْنَاهُ تَرْتِيلًا. And those who disbelieve say, why is the Qur'an not revealed to him all at once? Thus it is sent down in parts, that we may strengthen your heart thereby, and we have revealed it to you gradually. Allah the Most High said, الذين آتيناهم الكتاب يتلونه حق تلاوته أولئك يؤمنون به. And those who embraced Islam from Bani Israel, or the companions to whom we gave the book, the Tawrat or the Qur'an, recite it and obey its orders and its teachings as it should be recited, are those who believe therein. So in front of you, there are a number of things that you have to take into consideration in every subject you study. Number 1, memorize a concise book on it. Number 2, perfect it by studying it under a proficient Shaykh. Number 3, do not engage yourself with long books and compilations of many different subjects before perfecting the basics and becoming proficient in it. Number 4, do not swap one concise book to another without any necessity. Number 5, capture the benefits and precepts of knowledge by writing them down. Number 6, mentally prepare yourself to seek knowledge and progress in it. Also be concerned with and zealous in attaining and reaching what is above you until you progress into long compilations with ease. It was the opinion of Ibn al-Arabi al-Maliki that the seeker should not mix between two subjects what he is studying, and that priority should be given to learning Arabic, poetry, and mathematics. Then go on to the Qur'an, but he was rebuked by Ibn Khaldun, who said that then present-day customs did not encourage this method. That was the priority should be given to studying the Qur'an and memorizing it, because as long as the child remains in the lap, he is easily controlled, but once he passes the age of adolescence, it becomes difficult to force him to do things. As for studying two subjects or more simultaneously, then this differs from one seeker to another depending upon their capacity of understanding and their enthusiasm. There were among the people of knowledge who taught Hanbali fiqh from Zadul Mustaqni' from the beginners, Al-Muqni' for differences of opinion within the madhab, and then Al-Mughni for differences of opinion at an advanced level, and did not permit the seekers in the first level to sit in the lessons of the seekers in the second level, and so on, so as to eliminate any confusion. And know that the list of the concise books and the long compilations upon which seeking knowledge is based and acquiring from the mashayikh generally differed from one region to another depending on the madhab and that which the scholars of that region were brought up on, since they will tend to be proficient in one particular concise book rather than any other. The situation is also differed from one seeker to another depending upon the talents, level of understanding, the strength and weakness of their will, and the rigidity or enthusiasm of their minds. As for the seeking of knowledge in our region, after the stage of Quranic schools and completion of the memorization of Noble Qur'an, it passed through 3 stages with the mashayikh with regards to the lessons held in masajid, in mosques. Number 1, the beginner. Number 2, the intermediates. Number 3, the advanced. As for Tawheed, they would be taught Al-Usul al-Thalatha wa Qawaid al-Arba'a, then the Kashf al-Shubuhat, then Kitab al-Tawheed. All these 4 by Shaykh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab rahimahullah. This is on Tawheed Ibadah. Regarding Tawheed al-Asma' was-Sifat, the Tawheed of the names and attributes of Allah, Al-Aqidatul Wasitiyya, Al-Hamawiyya, Al-Tadmuriyya, all these three by Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah. Then Al-Aqidah At-Tahawiyya along with its explanation. As for Arabic grammar, Al-Ajurumiyya, then Mulhat, Al-I'rab by Hariri, then Qatrun Nadar by Ibn Hisham, Al-Fiyya bin Malik, along with its explanation by Ibn Aqil. As for Hadith, Al-Arba'in al-Nawawiyya, then Umdatul Ahkam by Al-Maqdisi, then Bulughul Maram by Ibn Hajar, and Al-Muntaqa by Ibn al-Majid Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah. And then they would delve into the 6 compilations of hadith: Al-Bukhari, Muslim, An-Nasa'i, Abu Dawud, Tirmidhi, and Ibn Majah, and others. As for the science of hadith, Nukhbatul Fikar by Ibn Hajar, then Alfiyatul Iraqi rahimahullah. As for fiqh, the etiquette of walking to the salah by Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, then Zad al-Mustaqni' by al-Hajjawi rahimahullah, Umdatul Fiqh and Mughni for differences within the madhab, and Mughni for differences at an advanced level. All these 3 are by Ibn Qudama rahimahullah. And the principles of fiqh, al-Waraqat by Ibn Juwayni rahimahullah, then Rudatun Nazir by Ibn Qudama rahimahullah. As for the loss of inheritance, Al-Rahbiyya along with its explanation, and Fawa'idul Jaliyah. Tafsir Ibn Kathir rahimahullah. As for principles of tafsir, Al-Muqaddimah by Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah. As for seerah, the biography of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Mukhtasar al-Sirat al-Nabawiyyah by Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, Za'ad al-Ma'ad by Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah. As for Arabic vocabulary, special attention would be given to classical Arabic poetry such as Al-Mu'laqat as-Saba', the reading of the Qur'an, and Fayruz Abadi rahimahullah, and so on, through the stages of knowledge on different subjects. And with this, they would study the long compilations such as the Tarikh by Ibn Jarir, history as narrated by him, and by Ibn Kathir also, and concentrate on the works of Ibn Taymiyyah and the seeker Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah, and the books and the fatwas of the imams of the da'wah of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, especially the writings on Aqidah. In this manner, time would be engaged in some seeking knowledge. Within the gatherings of knowledge from after Fajr till forenoon, then after that there will be time for a nap just before Dhuhr, and lessons would be held after the 5 daily prayers. The seekers of knowledge and their mashayikh also used to be immensely well-mannered, have plenty of mutual respect along with self-esteem, and were upon the way of Salafus Salih. For this reason they reached their arms, and so many of them became recognized scholars, and all praise is due to Allah alone, the Lord of all the worlds. So it is not time to call for the return of the traditional methods of seeking knowledge by studying and memorizing concise, reliable books, and not just relying upon understanding alone or upon studying pre-prepared pamphlets. It is these 2 things that cause the seekers of knowledge to become lost and neither memorize nor understand the knowledge. It is Allah alone who we seek help from. It was narrated that Al-Hafidh Uthman ibn Khurrazad died in 282 AH rahimahullah said, the person associated to hadith is in need of 5 qualities, and if one of them is lost, then it is considered as a deficiency. He is in need of a good mind, piety, precision, proficiency in this field, as well as being well known for his trustworthiness. Al-Dhahabi rahimahullah commented, trustworthiness is a portion of the deen, piety, and precision is included in proficiency. So what a hafidh really needs is to be fearful of Allah, intelligent, grammatical, a linguist, righteous, modest, Salafi, and it is sufficient enough for him to write 200 volumes and to gather 500 reliable compilations of books. and not to become fatigued by seeking knowledge till death with sincerity and humility, otherwise let him not trouble himself. Number 17. To acquire knowledge from the mashayikh. The basis of acquiring knowledge should be by way of dictation and acquisition from the teachers, and by being in the continuous company of the scholars and taking from the mouths of men, and not from the scrolls and the depths of book. The first type of student is the seeker of knowledge who takes from the teacher, falls under the taking from one's relative when they talk. This is an example of one who takes from a teacher. The second takes from a book, which is inanimate. Therefore, how can the ties of lineage be possible? It also be used to said, whoever enters knowledge alone will emerge alone, such that whoever becomes involved in seeking knowledge without a shaykh will emerge without knowledge, because knowledge is a profession, and every profession has its experts. Therefore, it is necessary to have a proficient teacher in order to learn. There is almost a consensus from the scholars upon this, except for a very few who were isolated in their opinion that is necessary to have a shaykh, such as Ali ibn Ridwan al-Misri at-Tabib, the doctor, died in 453 H, and he was refuted by the scholars of his age and those who came after them. Al-Dahabi said in his biography, and he did not have a shaykh. Rather, he engaged himself in taking from the books, and he wrote a book about acquiring a skill by reading from the books, and that is more prosperous from the learner, and this is wrong. And s.w.t wrote extensive refutation of what he said, which was mentioned by az-Zubaydi in his explanation of al-Ihya, along with a number of other scholars, all putting forward a number of arguments, amongst them that which Ibn Batlan put forward in his refutation, in which he said, the sixth point, there are things that exist in the book that divert from knowledge, and they are non-existent in the teacher, and it is due to distortion that occurs due to the resemblance of the letters, in addition to the non-existence of the pronunciation and the mistakes that occur due to straying of the eyes, lack of experience, i'rab, implementing the rules of Arabic grammar, corruption of the existing book, handwriting that cannot be read, or reading that which is not written, not knowing the madhab of the author, poor quality of the scripts, poor transcription, lack of stopping at the correct punctuation, mixing up terminology of different subjects and using the terminology of one subject in context of another, and the existence of Greek myth terminology that the writer did not take from the Arabic language. All of the things mentioned obstruct knowledge, and the learner is relieved of them when he reads to the teacher. If the situation is such, then reading to the scholars is more advantageous and virtuous than personal study. This is what we wanted to explain, as-w.t said. For this reason, the scholars said, do not take knowledge from a person who acquires it from the scripts, and do not take the Qur'an from a person who has recited the Qur'an from the mushaf, meaning, do not recite the Qur'an to a person who just read it from the mushaf without reciting it to a shaykh, or hadith, etc., from a person who acquired hadith by reading from the scripts. As for the tangible proof that establishes the falseness of Ibn Rudwan's theory, then it is that you will read thousands of biographies written in different eras throughout history that are full of mentions of the teachers and their seekers. Some seekers have many mashayikh, while others have few. Refer to some of the examples of those who have many teachers, to the extent that some of them had thousands, as mentioned in Al-Uzzab, taken from Al-Isfar by the author, Sheikh himself. Abu Hayyan Muhammad Yusuf al-Andalusi died in 745 after Hijrah, used to say, when Ibn Malik was mentioned to him, where are his teachers? And Al-Walid said, Al-Awza'i used to say, this knowledge used to be noble, passed down from men to men, but when it entered the books, the wrong people became involved in it. A similar account was narrated by Ibn al-Mubarak from Al-Awza'i. Without a doubt, flaws occur when taking from the scripts, even with their ijazah, especially at that time when there was no dotting or voweling, so that in turn the word could become distorted in a way that would change the meaning. Such flaws are non-existent when taking from the mouths of men. Errors also occur when narrating from memory, as opposed to narrating from an edited script. Ibn Khaldun researched this topic very well in his famous Muqaddimah, foreword. It was said by some in poetry, and whoever does not read the books to the scholars, then his certainty in difficult issues is conjecture. And Abu Hayyan used to frequently recite the following poetry. The gullible one wrongly assumes the book's guide, and the one understanding and attaining knowledge and it escapes the ignorant one that in it are obscure issues that confuse the mind of a person with understanding. If you wish to attain knowledge without a teacher, you will stray from the right path. The issues will become so confusing to you that you will become more astray than Tuma the wise.